Hello friends, and welcome to Fishcraft. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so very much. Fishcraft is a Minecraft survival series that I've been working on for quite a while now. And to sum it up as quickly as possible, it's pretty much just a world that I've been doing a bunch of fishing in. And also building, I suppose, but really it's mostly just fishing. I do have 252,000 fish caught after all. And I definitely don't have any plans for stopping. What I do have plans for, though, is for today's video, we are going to be trying to set out and do a little bit more terraforming and maybe some work on the mega base, where hopefully, actually, I think we're going to be finishing it today. Although, we'll see how that goes, honestly. Because I've got the resources for the actual base to be finished, but I don't know if I've actually got the time for it. So here's our plan for today. So this is the beginning stages of an apothecary castle that we're going to be having connected up to this whole section of buildings over on this side. So our objective for today is to finish this castle. We're going to build it up. We're going to build all the tall structures and all the archways and stuff connecting it. And then we're going to make a small path leading from this apothecary to this giant castle. Sounds easy enough. So in summary, we're going to be doing a bunch of building, a whole bunch of terraforming, and a whole lot of fishing. Ooh, speaking of fishing, here is my fishing that I've done for the week so far. And while we're doing our fishing and stuff here, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much for always watching these weird videos and always being here and supporting me. And I appreciate you all so much. Also, goodness, 6,800 subscribers. I can't believe that we've made it this far. I appreciate you all so much, and I hope to make many more videos for you all. Also, speaking of, look at all this cool fan art we got so far. Thank you so much, Getuno and Fallowfoot. You all are absolutely amazing, and I appreciate you so much. And little fishing time lapse. No, it doesn't. No, I know it doesn't look like much, but unfortunately, that's because my cat kept on stepping on my power button on the top of my computer, so I lost a lot of different replays while I was just right in the middle of fishing. Everything just shuts down. Oh, that's right, I forgot. Before I forget, there is something I wanted to point out. So many episodes ago, I made something called a fish log, where I would draw, I would hand scribble a bunch of fishies for all of my channel members, and I'll be honest, I didn't get very many, and I completely forgot about it. However, it has come to my attention recently that one of my channel members named Jess has officially been a member for over a year now, which is absolutely crazy. And I didn't even realize that they made a request, and I'm a silly goose. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Jess. So I have been busy in my painting program, and I've drawn their very best friend fish, Goldie, which is a golden longfin zebra danio. So thank you so much, Jess, for your entire year of support, and I appreciate you so much. And here's your fish for the fish log. That being said, unfortunately, I don't know if I'll be able to do any more fishing this week, because I have so much building I have to do, which is quite an unfortunate thing for me to say, considering that, you know, fishing is the thing that I think I enjoy the most in this game. However, I am still excited to... Whoa, that was a big elytra jump. I am still excited to get started on this building, though, because it is very nearly done, and this building process has been really long, and I'm excited to finally see it all finished. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get started on putting on the little pieces of the residential bits of this castle here. So this giant rock here in the middle, or this deep slate stuff, is kind of like the structural support or whatever for all of the different houses that are going to be sitting in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap around a bunch of little houses all the way around the sides here, and then we're going to have one larger, like, main hall area right here, and then an even bigger one on this side that goes way up into the sky, with a small archway connected on the left side from over here. Now that does mean we're gonna have to do some terraforming over on the bamboo forest, and we're gonna have to flatten a lot of this stuff down here. But that's okay, because I do think it'll look good, and I have been practicing my terraforming. So since my last episode, I did decide that there's a little tiny mountain over here. Or not a mountain, I suppose. There's a little tiny hill over here that I've been practicing my terraforming on, and I think it's so fun. I don't know what's happened to my brain to suddenly like terraforming, but it's probably just because I'm easily distracted. But I've been practicing my terraforming, and this is what we got so far. So I finished texturing the tiny bit that I did in the last episode, which was this little corner piece right here. So pretty much all I did was I just took this same sort of like design that I was going on, and I just kind of wrapped it all the way around to the very end over here. Now, I don't know if this is exactly what I want to be my end goal for the terraforming. I may at some point want it to actually wrap fully around the whole apothecary castle, but we'll have to see where that goes when we actually do it. But this is what we've got so far, and I really love doing this. It might have a bit too much depth, I think. Maybe I could push back these little hanging bits by 1 block or something. I feel like it's too, it feels almost too rounded now because of how much depth I gave it. It almost looks like a bunch of circles, but I do still think it looks really good, and I'm genuinely surprised that I was able to do this on my very first try of doing some landscaping and stuff. That being said, I definitely am going to be doing a lot more landscaping, and I very much love it. These raw salmon really aren't helping very much. I've been losing food all morning. So here's this bit over here. This one was especially fun. It turns out I like doing the rounded corner bits. The only thing I messed up here though is that I made it too much on the same level. I've learned that if you add a bit of wonk to the shape here, it makes it look so much better. So I should have like slightly raised like maybe this middle bit or one of these corner pieces, and that would have gave it that interest that we're looking for. So I may actually still go through and we can still fix it, because I did it over here as well. I noticed that the stone bit was like almost exactly the same, like all the way around, and it almost felt like a pattern. So I just raised it up a little bit, and then look at this, we got a little cave here. Oh my gosh, maybe I can make like a little minecart cave here. I've got ideas. Maybe we could put like a tiny little mine shaft over in this corner here, because now that I think about it, I genuinely don't think I have a single mine shaft in this whole game I've played, except for the one that I made when I first started playing, which is I dug a hole straight into the ground, and then that was it. We called it dead and dusted. So while we're still talking about landscaping, I'm so sorry. I've been very busy. So in between all my fishing since my last video this past week, I have been hard at work collecting a whole bunch of sand and a whole bunch of sandstone, and I've been trying my best to do some sort of a shoreline terraforming bit, but I don't know how to do that properly. I've never done shoreline terraforming like from the shore all the way down to the actual ocean floor. I know I've done shoreline terraforming before over here, but it's not like it doesn't go from the top to the bottom. See, it just kind of like is a cut off. So we go over here. See how we've got like the sandstone and stuff here, and it looks awful, but that's okay. I know exactly why it looks awful, and it's because the shore here is not tall enough. So this is only what is this, 1 block above sea level, which definitely 1 block is above sea level. Sea level was my undoing here, because if I want these things to look interesting, I need them to be higher, and because it's only 1 block, I can only work with like 1 slab, or like the one that you have below the slab connecting to the water. So it really doesn't look good. So this is the best I could do for a shoreline shoreline terraforming, and I genuinely do like it. I do think it looks really good for my first time doing a little shoreline build. And I reckon the more I do this, the better it's gonna be and the more fun it's gonna get, because this genuinely it's so relaxing. You just kind of get into like a weird sort of flow state, and then you're just kind of just going. Just placing blocks, minding your own business. It almost feels like I've been doing more building than, I almost said more, I've been doing more building than fishing, which is quite sad. But again, I do have plans for more fishing in the future, and hopefully less building. Right. I got so distracted. I'm so sorry with all the terraforming and stuff. Oh, I've just realized that the whole front of the apothecary castle is like completely inaccessible. Look at this. I made the whole front entrance right here just completely tucked behind this whole bamboo forest. So maybe do I have to get rid of this whole bamboo forest, and then maybe we'll also terraform this other shoreline over here, and we can do some sort of like path leading up to the apothecary castle. We got a really good like entrance way. I want to say like an archway, but I don't know if I can do those properly. But I'll do my best. So we're gonna have to take down this bamboo forest, I think, and maybe we can do something with like the pandas, and we can make some sort of panda sanctuary. Oh, hi ocelots. Oh, you can come with me now? Okay, let's go. So maybe we can do something for the pandas in like a sanctuary or something, because I don't want to take down their forest and then not have them a place to go. I think I've done too much shocking, and I'm so sorry. Oh, these palm trees. Maybe I need to adjust those as well, because these ones are much better. So maybe I'll also replace those, or just remove them completely. I don't know. That being said, however, I need to hurry up and get started on finishing this castle. So we're just gonna do a little tiny twirl. And there we go. This has been, oh, sorry, I just threw my mouse. This has been a journey of that spanned many days already so far. I think this is actually day 3 that it's been since I started doing all this stuff. Yeah, it's been 3 days since I started doing this, and I'm so tired. And I've been so busy. Goodness gracious. I've had a really good time so far with this. So this right here, this is my mega base, I suppose, or at least as mega as I'm probably gonna get for this series. Honestly, I don't think I have the mental capacity to build things bigger than this one, or at least maybe just for this season specifically of Fishcraft. Who knows? Maybe I can build some bigger buildings in my future seasons of this. And with that being said, allow me to please take you on a wonderful tour of the lovely Apothecary Castle, which does not have an interior. I'm so sorry to say. I've only been building this for a week. You think I'm crazy? You can't build interiors of an entire mega base in one episode. Right, so here's what we've got so far. So this is our outer wall right here with this giant wood one. We've got all kinds of watchtowers attached to it, with a whole bunch of little offshoots on the sides over here like this. I had a really good time building these in a diagonal. I don't think I've built diagonal before, and it was quite fun, but it was definitely a challenge, I'll say that. And then at the top of the outer wall, we have a small garden section, or like a ring, that wraps all the way around the whole Apothecary Castle, where we're gonna have all sorts of lovely greenery and maybe like some smaller custom trees and all kinds of potted plants and stuff. You know, just regular apothecary stuff. Maybe we can do some more custom plants over there, and then we can also start filling out the greenhouse properly, because I know I made the greenhouse and then I put regular plants in it after saying it was specifically for custom plants, but I'll figure that part out later, because this episode was just a bunch of building, and I think that's about it. And also a lot of talking. Goodness gracious, I didn't realize how much of a yapper I was. So we've got the outer wall, we've got the apothecary garden around the outside here, and then we have the inner wall, which is a big rock wall, which I actually had to do some retexturing of. I liked it, but I wanted to change around some of the blocks. It felt a little too noisy, and I also wanted to add in a little bit more green to it. So I also poked in just a very little bit amount of jungle leaves or oak leaves or something into the side of it, because it is an apothecary after all. Man, look at this. Look at this big old castle. Yes, okay. This definitely is 100% the greatest thing I've ever made, possibly ever. I loved my mega base in my hardcore series, the giant llama monolith, but it was way too tall and there wasn't really any detail in it. So this definitely, I think, takes the cake for like for stuff that has like detail and cool little towers all over the place. I really love this. I am excited to do the interior at some point though, so that I can take out all this black concrete and then you can actually see like all this stuff going on the inside. I did actually, up here at the top, I made sure to leave a platform or like a balcony or something, so you can like look around pretty much the entire everything I've built here so far. Just from the little top of the top of the tower, just like a little gazebo, but that's also like attached to the actual building itself. I will say that I definitely think the hardest part of this whole building for me was doing these rounded roofs, but also using slabs, because pretty much the whole time I've been building in this world, up until I started with the apothecary stuff, I never really used the slabs all that often, except for maybe for like decorations and stuff on the outside, like for windows. But usually, for some reason, my go-to was to use full blocks, like what I did for this copper right here, and I definitely can say that this is, it definitely looks better when I use slabs. And I'm very happy with how this came out, especially for being my first time using slabs in a circle sort of style. I don't know how to build circles with slabs, obviously, but I did my best, and that's all that matters. I also am proud to say that it is fully finished on all sides of the building, so it's got all the full decorations, no matter what side you're looking from. So I cannot be happier with this giant mega base that I made. Or yeah, still not mega base, but close enough. Also, I did originally have all of this in time-lapse form, but there kept on being issues with my cat stepping on the power button as usual. So I decided that I just was gonna do the little spin transition. So I was very thankful that I had the spin transition thing in backup ready, just in case it did. But it's okay, honestly. I really don't mind not doing the time lapses at all. In fact, I prefer not to do them because it seems too high energy now for what it is I like to do for videos. So originally I did time lapses all the time because, you know, usually a lot of the creators that I watch would do time lapses, and it felt like it was the normal thing to do for videos. However, given enough time, I've started to kind of go my own direction here, and I feel like there's time lapses not so good unless for doing fishing and stuff, because that's what I love doing. Speaking of fishing, I have a little tiny fishing hole over here that I tried to terraform slightly. However, I think it's too shallow, and it didn't really come out right. Because again, I've come into the same issue that I was at before, with this being only 1 block above sea level, and it really doesn't leave me much, it doesn't leave me much room to terraform with. I'll probably just remove this puddle, and we'll just turn it into solid ground again at some point. This definitely was a failed experiment, but I did like trying to use it as a way to try and connect the castle to the actual floor a bit more by using like bits of sand blown over into the corner here. I thought it looked pretty cool, although it might be a bit too much. So perhaps I'll remove a little bit more sand, like in this corner here. But while we're talking about terraforming, I've been on a binge of the sorts in terms of landscaping, and I have had so much fun. I've had so much fun, and I still have a bit more landscaping that I'd like to do, but I have been crazy busy. Like the castle didn't take very long at all for me to build, considering I had most of the resources already ready to go. But I decided that for some reason I wanted to free flow all kinds of landscaping and terraforming into the side of the actual castle itself, which was a terrible idea, considering I've never terraformed before, except for just in my last episode, I think. However, I am extremely happy with how this has come out. So here's what we got so far. So this is the left side of the castle, directly underneath the arch that's connecting this little tower here with the giant frog lights on it and the apothecary logo. So directly below it, we've got some tiny hills connecting up to the side of the castle here with some grass and all kinds of dirt and stuff. And then my favorite part, which is the shoreline from the little river that we had over here. So I did push out the grass a little bit more, and then I connected all of the sand and stuff to the actual the river floor itself. Then I pushed up the sand to reach the bottom of the mountain, just so that I can give it a lot more depth, and it feels like it's more connected to the ground itself. This is what I was talking about when I said that the main issue with my terraforming over here is that it's only 1 block above the sea level, so I wasn't able to do certain things like this, where I would be able to have much more detail and depth and stuff for the shorelines. So this, I feel like, by just terraforming and making these giant mountains myself, gave me a lot more freedom to do the things that I actually wanted to do in this area. And my goodness, can I just say that I absolutely love this. And I did go through a lot of sand. I went through a lot of sand here, or at least a lot of sandstone, rather. I will say, however, it was actually relatively easy to free flow a lot of this, just placing random bits. The hard part was actually connecting the shoreline all the way down to the river floor. I did a small portion over there on my shoreline with the ocean, but I didn't quite realize how long it takes for you to manually place all these different slabs, and then leave the water and then look at it and see if it looks okay or not, and then come back, and it just was a lot, and it took a very long time. So doing these types of things right here, this definitely was what took the longest by a long shot. Like it takes a while, and then having to dig out all of the dirt and then replace it with sand and then go back through with bone meal, and it was a whole ordeal. I loved every second of it, but it was slightly tedious, that's all. You know what else was tedious? Making this whole fake mountain over here. In my last video, I made this small piece of terraforming area right here. This was my first bit of terraforming that I was talking about just a minute ago. So I added this wall here because it was originally just a very cut off section of dirt that I'd cut so that I could make room for the apothecary here. And I decided to try and texture it up a little bit, and then I decided to just go full terraforming mode on it. And this is what we came up with. So I had this whole wall over here that was just kind of, it seemed like it was its own thing, and I didn't really know what to do with it, and I didn't want to just have it fall off like it was earlier. So I decided to expand it all the way around the entire backyard of the apothecary. So now we've got this whole section over here that we have for whatever it is we want to do over here. It's not quite as roomy as I had originally hoped, but it was too late. I already was like halfway done before I realized there wasn't much space. So I just left it how it was, and I'm very happy with it. And I did remember to add all kinds of wonk to the actual like grass line. So I will say that I definitely have been getting slightly better at terraforming, at least personally. Like I genuinely, I did not know that I could do this. I always thought that this was like some unachievable goal that only like crazy people could do, but it turns out all I had to do was start. I also have somehow picked up the technique of building in pluses. So whenever I am doing like expanding pieces of like terraforming, the pattern I'll keep in mind is building in a small little plus pattern like this, and I'll just do this kind of just all over the place. You can see it in pretty much everything I've done here. I've got just little plus signs all over the place. So I think that is that a me thing? Did I make that up, or is that like actual thing somebody should be doing? Because I like it, and it makes building the terraforming and stuff much easier. And also it turns out it's incredibly helpful for building trees, because you might have noticed I built a whole tree too, which also was completely free flowed, by the way. So I actually don't think I've gotten a full look at this entire tree yet. I was just placing a bunch of random blocks, and I haven't had like the full step back. I saw it when I did the reveal of the castle a little bit, but I didn't see it really all the way. And I do think it looks really good. However, I think I need to cover up some of these branches still. But on the whole, I do quite like this little tree. It's so cute. Look at this big old tree. I don't know exactly what kind of tree it is, but I know I wanted it to be on top of the terraforming bit that I did here. And then maybe I can use a bit more dirt, and we'll slightly connect the tree to the floor itself, which I tried doing already with the roots here. I tried draping it down so that it felt more like part of the world instead of just being popped on top of a flat surface, because that's something I've been trying to work on this series so far, or at least as of late. I've been trying my best to get my buildings connected to the world around them instead of just making a pretty build. I want them to be one with the world they are built in, because I'm pretty sure that's what makes a good build, right? You can make a beautiful building all you want, but if you just pop it down onto a super flat world connected to grass and that's it, it kind of just feels like it sticks out, which is the problem I've had with all of my buildings I've ever made. None of them really fit the theme, so I'm hoping to try to fix that in my newest videos, and maybe my newest series that I'll be starting, and I'll try to carry this with me, and hopefully I can get better at building as I go. That being said, however, I do believe I have done just about all I can do for one video. I have done a crazy amount of terraforming. I've finished my entire castle thing. I built a beautiful tree. This has been a very busy week so far, and I didn't even do very much fishing either. What was I at the last episode? 252,000 fish caught or so? And I'm currently at 257,760. I've got my hours. I've got my hours in already. So, with that being said, I thank you all so very much for watching this episode of Fishcraft. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye! Bye-bye!